The alien princess walked slowly through the grand halls of her palace, her steps echoing against the polished floors. She had been born into a world of perfection, a world where everyone expected flawless behavior, flawless appearance, and flawless talent. But she was different. Her skin shimmered with colors her people considered strange. Her voice had an unusual tone, and her abilities, though powerful, were not what her society valued. For years, she had been rejected by everyone around her, from her family to her peers. Every attempt to fit in only reminded her of how alone she truly was. She stopped by a large window that looked out over the sprawling city of her planet. The towers gleamed under the twin suns, and flying vehicles moved in patterns that were precise and controlled. From above, the city seemed perfect, but she knew its heart was cold. The people she called her own would never accept her. She had tried to show them her strengths, her ideas, her courage, but they had laughed or turned away. Even the Council of Elders had rejected her when she presented a plan to help a neighboring planet in crisis. Their words had burned into her memory. "You do not belong here. You are not ready. You are strange." Tears prickled in her eyes, but she wiped them away quickly. She had spent years waiting for someone, anyone, to understand her, but no one ever had. That was when she remembered the old stories, tales whispered by the scholars and hidden in ancient libraries. They spoke of humans, creatures from a distant blue planet, small and fragile, yet endlessly brave. Humans, the stories said, faced dangers far greater than theirs, fought against odds that seemed impossible, and still stood tall. They were different, unpredictable, and yet, the princess's heart beat faster as she imagined meeting such beings. Could it be possible that these humans, so far away, could accept her? Could they see the value in someone her own people had rejected? She had spent years hiding her hope, but now the spark of an idea grew into a flame. She would leave. She would travel across the stars and find a human. There was even a chance that one would see her for who she was. She had to try. She hurried to her private chamber, where a small ship awaited her. It was not meant for long journeys, it had. Only enough fuel and shields for a quick escape, but it would be enough. She packed carefully, taking only essentials and a few gifts that represented her home. Her hands trembled as she placed the small crystal she had carried since childhood into her bag. It was a symbol of her identity, the one thing she had always held on to. As she climbed into the cockpit, memories of her life flashed before her. The ridicule, the cold stares, the loneliness, all of it. But she also remembered her dreams, her courage, and her desire for connection. With a deep breath, she activated the engines. The ship hummed to life, and she lifted off into the sky, leaving behind the palace, the city, the planet that had never accepted her. The journey through space was long and lonely, but she did not regret her choice. She studied human records, learning their language, their culture, and their values. She watched videos of humans facing challenges with bravery, helping each other and showing kindness even in the darkest times. Every story inspired her more. Perhaps she thought humans could understand someone like her, someone who had never truly belonged. Finally, after what felt like endless travel, her ship approached a small planet with oceans and Greenland's Earth. She had studied this planet carefully, knowing that the humans here had the traits she admired: courage, empathy, and adaptability. As her ship descended, she felt a nervous excitement. This was her chance. If she failed, she could always retreat, but if she succeeded, she might finally find a place where she belonged. She landed quietly in a forest, hidden from view of any nearby towns. The air smelled fresh, and the sunlight filtered softly through the leaves. It was beautiful, different from the cold perfection of her home planet. She stepped out of her ship, her small feet touching the Earth's soil. It was warm, alive, and welcoming in a way her own planet never had been. The princess spent the next few days observing humans from a distance. She watched them in their daily lives, working, laughing, helping each other. She noticed how they smiled even when things were difficult, how they comforted those in pain, and how they celebrated even small victories. She felt a deep admiration for their resilience. Unlike her own people, humans did not judge one another for being different. They valued courage, loyalty, and heart. Among the humans she observed, one man stood out. He was young, not particularly tall or strong. But there was something in the way he moved, the way he treated others, that made her heart lift. He helped an elderly neighbor carry groceries, rescued a stray dog from the street, and always treated people with quiet respect. The princess realized that this man embodied everything she had read about humans: the strength, the kindness, the courage to do what was right, even when it was hard. For days, she watched him, learning his habits, his routines, and his personality. She studied his speech patterns, the way he smiled, and the way he interacted with the world. Finally, she felt ready. She could not remain hidden any longer. If she wanted to find a place where she belonged, she had to take a risk. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky with shades of orange and purple, the princess approached the human. She walked carefully through the forest until she reached the path he was walking. Her heart raced, but she reminded herself of everything she had learned. Humans valued courage, and this would be her moment to show it. "Hello," she said softly. The human turned, startled, looking at her with wide eyes. She could see the confusion, the curiosity, and a hint of fear in his expression.
But she
did not falter. "I have traveled far to meet you," she continued. "I am different, and I have been rejected by my own kind. But I have heard of humans, and I believe you might understand. Will you be my husband?" The words hung in the air. The human blinked, unable to speak at first. He had never imagined anything like this: an alien, beautiful and strange, asking him to be her partner. But as he looked into her eyes, he saw something beyond the appearance. He saw hope, courage, and honesty. He saw someone who had faced rejection and fear and yet still reached out for connection. Finally, he found his voice. You're serious?" he asked, his tone a mixture of astonishment and curiosity. The princess nodded. "I am serious," she said. "I have nowhere else to turn. I believe humans can see beyond what is ordinary. Can you accept me for who I am?" The human studied her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he smiled. I think I can," he said. "But we will have to learn from each other. There will be challenges, but maybe we can find a way together." The princess felt a warmth spread through her chest. This was the first time anyone had truly seen her, beyond her appearance, beyond her quirks. For the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope, a sense that she might belong somewhere. That night, under the stars, they talked for hours. She told him about her world, her struggles, and her dreams. He shared his own experiences, his fears, and his determination to help others. They laughed, they listened, and they began to understand each other in ways that words alone could not capture. As dawn approached, then the princess felt a sense of peace she had never known. She had taken a risk, leaving everything familiar behind, and she had found someone who saw her for who she truly was. The journey was only beginning, but for the first time in her life, she believed that perhaps rejection did not have to define her. Perhaps with courage and hope, she could build a life where she belonged to him. Maybe, just maybe, humans could teach her the meaning of acceptance, loyalty, and love. And so, the alien princess took her first steps into a world that was entirely new, guided by hope and the strength of human resilience. She had left rejection behind, and now she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with the human who had agreed, in his quiet, steady way, to stand by her side. The alien princess spent the first morning on Earth feeling both excitement and nervousness. She had stepped into a world so different from her own, full of colors, smells, and sounds she had never experienced. The forest around her was alive, with chirping birds and rustling leaves, and sunlight poured through the branches, painting the ground with gold. She looked at the human beside her, feeling a mixture of admiration and gratitude. He had agreed to meet her despite the impossibility of the situation, and that alone gave her courage. They walked along a small path that led toward the town. The human explained simple things about his life where he lived, the work he did, and the people he cared for. The princess listened intently, her large eyes sparkling with curiosity. Every detail fascinated her. Humans seemed to face difficulties without complaint, helping one another in ways she had rarely seen among her own kind. Their resourcefulness amazed her. They could fix broken things, solve problems creatively, and adapt to unexpected events. With ease, when they reached the outskirts of the town, the princess realized the challenge ahead. She could not simply appear in the town and expect people to accept her. Her appearance was striking and entirely alien, and humans had no concept of her kind. The human noticed her hesitation and gently took her hand. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll take this one step at a time. I'll help you learn, and we'll find a way for you to live here safely." The princess nodded, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. She had been rejected so many times before, yet here was a human willing to guide her with patience. It was a feeling she had never known acceptance. Over the next few days, the princess learned about human life. She observed their routines, practiced their language, and tried simple tasks like preparing food and using tools. Everything was new, from the way a door handle worked to the way humans cooked meals. At first, she struggled. She dropped utensils, mispronounced words, and sometimes her alien physiology made simple tasks difficult. But the human never laughed or scolded her. Instead, he encouraged her, showing her again and again how to do things until she improved. One afternoon, he brought her to the market. The streets were crowded, filled with people of all ages, colors, and styles. The princess felt nervous, aware of how different she looked. Some humans stared, pointing or whispering, but the human stayed close, holding her hand and walking with confidence. "Ignore them," he whispered. "They don't understand, but you'll learn. You'll find your place." At first, she wanted to hide, but as they walked, she saw something she had never seen on her planet: humans helping one another without expectation of reward. A man helped an elderly woman carry her packages. A child returned a dropped toy to its owner. The acts were small, but they carried a power she could not deny. Humans valued courage, kindness, and honesty in ways her own people had never appreciated. The princess felt a growing admiration for the human beside her. He did not demand perfection, did not judge her for being different, and yet he expected her to try and improve. She realized that humans could see beyond appearance and skill. They valued heart, determination, and loyalty. For the first time, she felt she could truly belong. One evening, after a long day in the town, they sat on a hill overlooking the lights of the city. The princess spoke softly. "I have never experienced kindness like this. On my planet, I was always judged, always pushed aside. Here, you treat me like I matter. I never thought that was possible." The human smiled, his eyes reflecting the glow of the city. "Humans have their flaws," he said, "but we also have the courage to see the good in others. That includes you. You are brave to come here, to face the unknown. That matters more than anything else." The princess felt a deep warmth in her chest. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever seen her courage as a strength. She realized that humans could be extraordinary allies, partners, and friends.
Ow.
They valued qualities that her own people overlooked: loyalty, determination, empathy, and the willingness to stand by someone in difficulty. As days passed, the princess began to practice human tasks more efficiently. She learned to cook simple meals, tend a garden, and even repair small tools. Each success brought her a small sense of pride, a proof that she could adapt and survive. The human encouraged her at every step, praising her improvements and helping her when she struggled. Together, they built a routine, a life that was unfamiliar but welcoming. One morning, they encountered a group of humans who were skeptical of the princess. They had never seen anyone like her before, and their initial reactions were cautious. Some whispered, while others stepped back, uncertain. The princess felt a pang of fear. Would she face rejection again? The human noticed her tension and stepped forward confidently. He introduced her calmly, explaining who she was, where she came from, and why she was here. His words carried authority and warmth, and slowly, the humans began to respond. Asked questions, expressed curiosity, and gradually accepted her presence. The princess observed carefully, realizing that humans respected honesty, courage, and confidence. They did not need perfection. They needed sincerity. The human had shown her that by standing tall, speaking with truth, and acting with kindness, she could earn respect even in a world so different from her own. Over the following weeks, the princess learned more about human culture. She attended community events, helped in local projects, and even shared stories of her planet, which fascinated humans. They listened with interest, asking questions, showing appreciation for her uniqueness. It was a stark contrast to her home world, where difference was often punished or ridiculed. Here, difference was celebrated, or at least respected. Through all of this, the bond between the princess and the human grew stronger. They shared experiences, learned from each other, and faced challenges together. She learned patience and humility, while he learned to appreciate courage and creativity in ways he had never considered. Their connection became a partnership of trust, mutual respect, and admiration. One evening, as they watched the sunset over the hills, the princess spoke again. "I never imagined I could feel accepted. I never imagined someone would care for me without expecting me to change." "Have shown me a world I thought could never exist." The human smiled, taking her hand. "It's not just me," he said. "Humans have the strength to rise to challenges, to protect and support those who need it. You're not alone anymore. Together, we can face anything." The princess's heart swelled with hope. For the first time in her life, she believed in a future where she could belong, where she could be valued for who she truly was. She had left rejection behind, crossed the stars, and found a human willing to stand by her side. She realized that humanity itself was extraordinarily brave, kind, adaptable, and full of heart. But even as she felt joy and belonging, she knew challenges lay ahead. Her home planet would not simply let her go. Others might not accept her choice. Yet, she also knew that with courage, intelligence, and the support of humans, she could face these trials. She had already crossed the first barrier, fear of rejection. Now, she would face the wider world with confidence. Guided by the strength she had discovered in humans and in herself, the princess took a deep breath, feeling the wind on her face, and smiled. The first time, she did not feel like an outcast. She felt like someone capable of making a difference, someone worthy of respect and love. And most importantly, she had a companion who saw her for who she truly was. Someone who embodied everything that made humans extraordinary. That night, under the stars, they talked until dawn. She shared her dreams for the future, and he shared his vision of a world where courage and kindness could change everything. They laughed, debated, and planned together. In those quiet hours, the princess realized that she had found not just a human ally, but a friend, a partner, and perhaps the first true home she had ever known. And so, life on Earth began for the alien princess, not as a stranger, not as a rejected outcast, but as someone learning, growing, thriving alongside a human who showed her the true meaning of courage, empathy, and acceptance. She had taken a leap of faith, and humanity had met her halfway, proving that even across worlds, hearts could connect, trust could form, and hope could flourish. Life with the human grew more complex as the alien princess began to explore the world beyond the small town where she had first arrived. Every day brought new lessons, new surprises, and new challenges, unlike her home planet where everything was rigid and predictable. Earth was alive with unpredictability. People made mistakes. Animals behaved in ways she could not anticipate, and the weather itself often turned against them. Yet, every challenge she faced alongside the human taught her something new about courage, adaptability, and the strength of humanity. One morning, the princess and the human decided to venture into the nearby city. It was larger, busier, and far noisier than the quiet town she had first seen. The streets teemed with people rushing to work, vendors calling out their prices, vehicles honking as they navigated narrow lanes. The princess felt a flicker of anxiety, remembering how easily she had been rejected by her own people. But the human walked confidently beside her, his calm presence easing her fear. "Just stay close to me," he said with a reassuring smile. "You'll do fine." As they walked, the princess noticed humans helping each other in small, subtle ways. A man gave his umbrella to someone caught in the rain, children helped clean a spilled market stall, and strangers exchanged smiles to lift each other's spirits. These were ordinary acts, yet she realized they required a kind of bravery her own people rarely showed. Humans did not have perfect control over their environment, yet they faced it with courage, improvising solutions and looking out for one another. The human led her to a public square where a small protest was taking place. People were chanting, holding banners, and demanding change. At first, the princess felt overwhelmed. On her planet, such public disorder would never be tolerated. Yet here, humans were passionate and vocal, yet largely peaceful, the human explained. Humans fight for what they believe is right. They may not always succeed, but their courage lies in standing up and trying. That's what makes them strong. The princess observed the scene closely, realizing that courage was not just physical. It was moral, emotional, and often unseen. Suddenly, a commotion broke out nearby. A young child had wandered into the street directly in the path of a speeding vehicle. Without hesitation, the human sprinted forward, scooping the child into his arms just in time.
Oh.
The princess gasped, her eyes wide. Humans were strong, yes, but their bravery often relied on quick thinking, courage under pressure, and a willingness to act despite fear. This man beside her, the one she had chosen to trust, had shown her exactly why humans were extraordinary. After the incident, the child's parents thanked the human profusely. The princess noticed the pride in his eyes, not for recognition, but for having done the right thing. She felt a deep admiration for him. Understanding that humans could rise to extraordinary circumstances in ways her own species often could not. Courage, she realized, was not just about skill or power. It was about heart, persistence, and integrity. The next challenge came in the form of cultural misunderstanding. The princess had a habit of showing her excitement through physical gestures. Unfamiliar to humans, she would extend her arms, her skin shimmering with vibrant patterns, or make sounds that were expressions of joy on her planet. In the crowded city, some humans stared, others whispered, and a few stepped back in fear. The princess felt a pang of shame, worrying she had once again been rejected. The human, sensing her unease, took her hand and spoke calmly. "They don't understand yet. That's okay. You have to show them slowly who you really are. Humans. Respect, honesty, and courage. Be yourself, and they will learn to accept it." With his guidance, the princess began to adapt, explaining her gestures to those who asked, showing kindness, and demonstrating her abilities in helpful ways. Slowly, humans started to see her as someone remarkable, not frightening. Over the next few days, they worked on practical challenges. The princess helped the human with construction projects, repairing damaged equipment, and learning new ways to problem solve. She was fascinated by human ingenuity. They made tools from limited resources, built shelters, and solved problems creatively without relying on perfection. Her own planet's rigidity had never taught her such flexibility. Humans, she realized, thrived on resourcefulness and imagination. One evening, as they rested after a long day of work, the princess spoke. Your people are extraordinary. You face danger, challenges, and uncertainty without giving up. You help one another even when it is not required. On my planet, we are afraid to fail. Here you rise to challenges and grow stronger. The human smiled. That's what makes us human, he said simply. We can be fragile, but we also have courage, heart, and determination. We learn from each other along the way. Your bond deepened, not only through shared experiences, but also through shared emotions. The princess revealed moments of vulnerability, telling him about the rejection she had faced, the isolation she had endured, and the longing for acceptance. He listened patiently, never judging, offering encouragement instead. Your courage is in choosing to keep going, he said. You left everything familiar to seek connection. That's bravery. The princess felt warmth she had never known. For the first time, someone valued her for her heart, not her abilities, her courage, not her perfection. Challenges continued, however. One afternoon, they encountered a situation that tested both their resourcefulness and trust. A group of humans had been trapped in a collapsed structure after a minor earthquake. Panic spread as the survivors called for help. The human did not hesitate. He directed the rescue efforts, coordinating the humans around him, while the princess used her alien abilities to lift debris carefully, saving those who could not escape on their own. Her powers, though unfamiliar to humans, were invaluable. Yet she realized that humans were not weak. They were creative, cooperative, and capable of extraordinary courage. Together, they saved many lives. The humans, initially wary of the alien princess, now looked at her with gratitude and awe, saw that courage, intelligence, and heart were not limited to one species. The princess felt proud that she knew this was only the beginning of proving herself in a world so different from her own. That night, as they returned home, the human said, "See, humans have challenges, yes, but we rise to them, help each other, protect one another, and learn to adapt. You've seen it today. Your abilities, combined with courage and teamwork, can make a real difference." The princess nodded. She realized that humans were extraordinary, not because they were perfect or powerful in the way her people valued strength, but because they faced life with creativity, empathy, and determination. As the days passed, they continued to integrate the princess into human society. She attended gatherings, helped with community projects, and even shared small lessons from her planet. Humans responded with curiosity and respect, asking questions, learning from her, and offering assistance. In return, slowly, she felt a sense of belonging growing within her, a feeling she had never experienced before. The princess also began to notice something profound about the human beside her. His courage was not just in action, but in heart. He faced every challenge calmly, treated others with respect, and approached life with honesty and determination. He showed her that humans could be extraordinary not only because of their skills, but because of their spirit, their willingness to rise to difficulties, and their unwavering loyalty to those they cared for. One evening, they sat under the stars, reflecting on everything that had happened. "I never imagined humans could be so. It's remarkable," the princess said softly. "You have shown me courage, kindness, and resilience I have never seen anywhere else." The human smiled. "We all have that potential," he replied. "It takes practice, heart, and choosing to act even when it's hard. You've already shown that by coming here, by learning, and by trusting me." The princess realized he was right. Courage was not just about physical strength or extraordinary powers. It was about the willingness to face challenges, protect others, and remain true to oneself. Humans had a unique strength, one that she had never seen in her own species. She felt inspired, determined to grow alongside them, to learn and to contribute in ways that could make a difference. As night turned to dawn, the princess reflected on her journey so far. She had crossed the stars, leaving rejection behind. She had met a human willing to see her heart, guide her, and stand beside her through challenges. She had begun to understand a new kind of bravery, one that relied on empathy, creativity, and unwavering determination. For the first time, she felt that belonging was not just a dream, it was possible. She was learning the human way of facing life, with courage, heart, and a willingness to rise to challenges, no matter how impossible they seemed. And she knew that with the human beside her, she could face anything that came next, ready to prove that together humans and aliens could achieve greatness, inspire others, and redefine what it meant to be strong. Life on Earth had begun to feel familiar to the alien princess, but she knew it could not remain peaceful forever. Her people were proud, rigid, and intolerant of difference. By now, they must have noticed her absence, and she feared the consequences. She had crossed the stars seeking acceptance and found a human willing to guide and protect her. Yet, the thought of her home planet's officials arriving to demand her return hung over her like a shadow. One morning, the sky darkened unexpectedly, even though there was no storm predicted. The princess looked up, sensing an unusual energy. Her instincts, honed from years of living among a strict and powerful species, told her something was coming. Before she could speak, a large spacecraft descended, hovering above the town with an imposing presence. It was sleek, metallic, and clearly not of Earth. The humans nearby stared in shock and fear, unsure if it was a threat. Her heart pounded. It was her people her home world had found her. The human beside her stepped forward calmly, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. "Whatever they want," he said quietly, "we face it together." The princess drew courage from his words, realizing that humans could face danger with calm determination and strategic thinking, not just brute force. Together, they would meet the challenge. The spacecraft landed with a gentle hum, and a group of alien officials emerged. They were tall, regal, and clearly powerful. Their eyes glowed faintly, showing authority and expectation. The princess stepped forward, trying to appear confident despite the fear swirling inside her. The lead official spoke in a sharp, commanding tone. "Princess, you have disobeyed your people. You will return immediately. Humans are not worthy of your presence. You have no right to remain here." The princess lifted her head and met their gaze. "I have chosen a path of my own," she said steadily. "I have found a human who values courage, kindness, and heart. I will not return simply because you demand it." The officials exchanged glances, surprise and anger flickering across their faces. No alien had ever defied them with such boldness. The human stepped beside her, unafraid. "She has the right to choose her own path," he said firmly. "And if anyone threatens her, they'll have to go through me." His tone was calm but unwavering, filled with quiet strength. The aliens stared at him, clearly evaluating this strange species that dared to oppose them. The lead official's voice rose. "You are human. You are weak and unworthy. Step aside, or you will face consequences." The human did not move. Instead, he observed the aliens, noting their movements and weaknesses. He had no advanced technology beyond Earth standards, but he had courage, intelligence, and creativity, traits humans excelled at. Suddenly, the aliens attacked. They moved with speed and precision, expecting easy victory over the human. He was prepared, using the environment to his advantage. He ducked, dodged, and countered with clever tactics. He led them into narrow alleys and crowded streets, where their size became a disadvantage. Every move he made was strategic, showing that human ingenuity could rival even advanced alien technology. The princess watched in awe. Her people were powerful, but the human beside her adapted to every challenge. He did not rely on strength. Alone, he observed, predicted, and acted with precision. Humans, she realized, were extraordinary, not because they were the strongest, but because they could think, innovate, and persevere under pressure. When the aliens regrouped, the human spoke, calmly. "You underestimate humans. Courage and heart are stronger than technology when used wisely." He drew their attention to the townspeople, who had begun to rally, inspired by his bravery. Humans were helping to protect the princess and themselves, forming barriers, guiding people to safety, and even distracting the aliens when necessary. The aliens had expected fear and submission, but instead, they faced determination and unity. The princess realized the full extent of human courage, even Ordinary humans without special powers could rise to challenges that seemed impossible. She had thought her abilities would be needed to protect herself. But humans had shown her that bravery, strategy, and teamwork were just as powerful as any alien skill. She felt a new respect for her companion and for humanity as a whole. The battle continued, but the human remained calm. He used distractions, environmental advantages, quick thinking to neutralize the aliens' attacks without causing harm to the town or the people around them. Slowly, the aliens began to realize that humans were not to be underestimated. Their ingenuity, courage, resourcefulness allowed them to counter superior strength and technology. Seeing their efforts, the princess stepped forward. She used her alien abilities sparingly, not to dominate but to assist lifting debris, shielding humans from falling objects and creating barriers where necessary. Together they formed an unlikely but effective team. Aliens, surprised and frustrated by the humans' cooperation and clever tactics, began to retreat, realizing they could not easily subdue these beings. After the conflict, the princess and the humans stood together, breathing heavily but uninjured. The town was safe, the humans had shown courage beyond expectation, and the alien officials had learned a vital lesson. Humans were not weak. They possessed resilience, intelligence, and an indomitable spirit. The princess felt pride swell within. She had chosen wisely. Humans could rise to challenges in ways her own people often could not. That night, as they looked at the stars, the princess spoke softly. "I never imagined humans could face danger like that. On my planet, power alone rules. Here, courage, intelligence, and heart can protect an entire community." The human smiled. "It's not about power," he said. "It's about rising. Two challenges, thinking ahead and protecting those you care for. That's what makes us human. And you've shown me courage to leaving your world, seeking connection, and standing tall against impossible odds." The princess realized he was right. Courage was not just physical strength or special abilities. It was the willingness to face danger, think creatively, and act with determination. Humans, she understood now, could be extraordinary allies, friends, and partners in ways her own species had never embraced. The alien officials departed, but the message was clear. Humans had proven themselves worthy. The princess's choice was validated, not by words alone, but by actions. She felt a sense of belonging and pride she had never known. Humans valued heart, courage, and loyalty, qualities that transcended species and made them remarkable in the galaxy. Over the following days, the town slowly returned to normal. People spoke of the courage they had witnessed, the resourcefulness that had saved lives, and the bravery of the human who had led them. The princess, now fully integrated into this world, began to feel a sense of peace. She had faced rejection, fear, and uncertainty, yet she had found acceptance, trust, and courage not just in herself, but in humanity. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, the princess and the human walked through the quiet streets. She felt a new strength, a sense of belonging, and the confidence to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had shown that courage, heart, and determination could overcome even the most advanced threats. For the first time, the princess realized that home was not a place, but a feeling one created by trust, loyalty, and the courage to stand together. She had crossed the stars, left rejection behind, and found humans who could teach her the true meaning of bravery, resilience, and partnership. And so, under the stars of Earth, the princess and the human prepared for the future, ready to face whatever challenges came next, strengthened by the extraordinary qualities of humanity and the bond they had forged through courage, ingenuity, and heart. Life had begun to settle into a new rhythm for the alien princess. The first shocks of Earth, the culture, and the human's unpredictable nature were no longer intimidating. She had learned to navigate cities, markets, and communities. She had learned to cook simple meals, help in construction, and interact with humans without fear. Yet, the most important lesson was understanding the depth of human courage and kindness. She had seen them face danger, help strangers, and rise to challenges with creativity and determination. It was unlike anything she had witnessed on her home planet. The human she had chosen as her partner was now more than a guide. He was a companion, teacher, and a friend. They worked together seamlessly, whether repairing broken equipment, solving logistical problems, or simply walking through crowded streets. His calm demeanor, clever thinking, and unwavering loyalty had earned the respect of the princess. She admired him not only for his actions, but for the qualities he embodied: strength of heart, cadence, and a capacity to rise to challenges beyond what she had imagined. One morning, she received a message from her home planet. It was an official communication, stern and formal. The Council of Elders had sent envoys to Earth, this time not to demand her return, but to observe. They wanted to see whether humans were truly worthy, whether the princess's choice could be justified. She felt a mixture of anxiety and determination. The human stood beside her as she opened the message. "Whatever happens," he said, "we face it together. We show them what humans are capable of." The envoys arrived within days. They were imposing, tall, and regal, with expressions of scrutiny and judgment. They expected to find a world where their princess had been swayed by weakness, but instead, they found humans working together, solving problems creatively, and interacting with the princess with respect and curiosity. The princess stepped forward with calm confidence. "See a world different from yours," she said, "but it is a world where courage, intelligence, and heart are valued. The humans here have shown me strength beyond what I ever imagined." The envoys observed quietly. One of them approached the human and challenged him, questioning his ability to care for and protect an alien princess. "You are small, fragile, and inexperienced," the envoy said. "How can you possibly be a suitable companion for royalty?" The human looked calmly at the envoy. "Strength is not measured by size or origin," he said. "It is measured by courage, loyalty, intelligence, and heart. I have faced impossible challenges and guided her safely through them. That is what makes me worthy, not bloodline or appearance." The council members watched as he demonstrated his strategic thinking. He'd organized a demonstration where humans and the princess worked together to solve a complex problem involving mechanical devices and environmental obstacles. The humans adapted, collaborated, and rose to challenges with ingenuity and determination. The princess assisted with her alien abilities, but it was clear that the humans' guidance, courage, and leadership were essential to their success. The envoys exchanged glances, their expressions softening. The princess's choice, once doubted, now seemed justified. They had expected weakness, incompetence, and failure. Instead, they saw a human rising to meet every challenge with intelligence, courage, and heart. The alien princess's decision was validated not through words alone, but through the undeniable proof of human capability and spirit. Over the following days, the envoys engaged with the community. They observed humans helping one another, sharing resources, and responding to challenges with creativity and resilience. They saw ordinary humans face difficulties without complaint, showing compassion and determination. The envoys were impressed, realizing that humans possessed qualities that many aliens underestimated. Courage, intelligence, and empathy were not limited to any species. They could be found in those willing to rise to challenges and act with integrity. The princess watched. The envoys, feeling a sense of pride and vindication, she had chosen correctly. Humans were extraordinary not because of strength or technology, but because of their heart, adaptability, and courage. She looked at the human beside her and smiled. "I am proud of you," she said softly. "You have shown them why humans are remarkable." The human smiled in return. "We all rise to challenges when needed," he said. "Showed me courage too. Choosing to leave your world, trusting humans, and standing up to your own people, that is bravery beyond measure." The princess felt a warmth she had never known. Courage and heart, she realized, were universal, but humans embodied them in a way that inspired and transformed those around them. The Council of Elders eventually spoke. "We see now that your choice is valid," they said to the princess. "Humans are worthy companions. You have chosen well." The princess felt relief and satisfaction. acceptance had finally come, not through submission or compromise, but through courage, action, and demonstration of true strength. Humans had proven themselves extraordinary. With the council's acknowledgement, the princess was free to remain on Earth. She had not only found a human willing to stand by her, but a world where her uniqueness was valued. The human's courage and intelligence had shown her species the power of adaptability, determination, and loyalty. Together, they had bridged two worlds, proving that strength was not measured by species, but by heart, mind, and will. Life gradually returned to a peaceful rhythm. The princess integrated fully into human society, learning, growing, and contributing. She shared knowledge from her world, helping with technology and science. While humans continued to teach her resilience, creativity, and empathy, she became a bridge between her species and humans, showing that cooperation and understanding could overcome prejudice. The bond between the princess and the human grew stronger with each passing day. They faced challenges together, celebrated victories, and supported one another through setbacks. She admired his courage, patience, and unwavering loyalty. He admired her resilience, intelligence, and determination. Together, they represented the best of both worlds: courage, heart, and the ability to rise to impossible challenges. One evening, they stood on a hill overlooking the town, watching the sun set in shades of orange and gold. The princess spoke. Softly, I never imagined I could belong somewhere. I thought rejection would always follow me. But humans, you have shown me acceptance, courage, and love. I am grateful. The human took her hand, smiling. You belong wherever you are seen, valued, and respected. Here with humans, you are not alone, and I am proud to stand by your side. The princess realized that true belonging was not about where she lived or the expectations of others. It was about trust, courage, and connection. She had crossed the stars, faced rejection, survived uncertainty, and found humans who could rise to challenges with heart and intelligence. She had found a partner who respected and valued her for who she truly was. Word spread of the alien princess. Living among humans, her story inspiring others, humans learned from her wisdom while she continued to learn from their courage and creativity. Together, they demonstrated that unity, intelligence, and heart could overcome fear, prejudice, and obstacles. As time passed, the princess fully embraced her new life. She engaged in community projects, assisted in scientific advancements, and became a symbol of unity between species. The humans she had come to love and respect saw her not as an outsider, but as a valued member of their world. She had proven that courage, determination, and empathy could transcend any difference. The human remained her companion, steadfast and wise. He faced challenges with ingenuity, protected those around him, and acted with compassion and courage. Together, they represented a new standard of excellence, not through perfection or power, but through heart, resilience, and willingness to rise to every challenge. And so, under the same stars that had guided her across the galaxy, the alien princess found a home not in a palace, not in the approval of her people, but in the strength, courage, and heart of humanity. She had been rejected by many, but she had found acceptance, love, and partnership where it truly mattered. Humans, she realized, were extraordinary, capable of facing any challenge, overcoming prejudice, and inspiring greatness in others. She smiled at the human beside her, knowing that together they could face any future. The galaxy was vast, the universe full of unknowns, yet she felt ready. Courage, heart, intelligence, and determination were powerful tools, and humans had shown her that these qualities could redefine what it meant to be strong. She had found a partner, a community, and a home. And in doing so, she had discovered the true meaning of belonging. Under the stars, she whispered softly, "Thank you for showing me what it means to be extraordinary." The human squeezed her hand, smiling. "We rise together," he said. "And together, we can face anything." The alien princess closed her eyes for a moment, feeling peace, pride, and hope. She had traveled across worlds, faced fear and rejection, and now stood in a place where courage, loyalty, and heart were recognized and valued. She had found humanity at its best, and it had changed her life forever. The future was bright, full of challenges, opportunities, and shared victories. But she knew, with humans by her side, with courage in her heart, and with a partner who embodied the best of humanity, she was ready for anything. Her journey of rejection had ended, and a new journey